Hey there, it's Ben from Pattern Profits bringing you a few setups into Thursday, September 23rd, starting with EXPI, EXPI. We have a symmetrical triangle here, descending trend line above, ascending trend line from below. You'll see anchored VWAP off of the power earnings gap. It was able to reclaim. There's another one there that's off of the high, and then this red anchored VWAP, that's the year to date. Today, reclaimed all of them on good volume, pocket pivot volume. In fact, you have full time frame continuity here. So we're looking for continuation here and a breakout of this triangle. XP, EXPI, great fundamentals there to support that one as well. I also have a firm, you probably already have this one on your radar, but I want to point it out again because we did come out of the pinch today. Now I talk about the pinch anchored VWAP below acting as support, anchored VWAP from off of the high acting as resistance. Tried to break out here and couldn't, came back, 10 MA cloud caught it, and now it broke out. We're looking at 126.46, the high above, looking for that to make a push back towards those highs. I also have Dick's, DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods. Get used to this power earnings gap pattern because we see it a lot. Power earnings gap here. Here's the anchored VWAP. Oh, one thing I want to point out with power earnings gaps, when they happen, like you see this one back here on big volume, power earnings gap, they tend to happen again. And that's exactly what we got here. Even though this closed red, it was a big day on big volume, closed way up. Anchored VWAP kind of danced, good climb there, then kind of danced below it a little bit and waited on the 20 MA cloud to catch up. Now you've built out a nice volume shelf there. Point of control is right there, looking for that push back through anchored VWAP from off of the power earnings gap here. And then you have those highs above. 147.39, the level we'll look at above. I have another one, similar type setup, MXL, Max Linear, and this one was able to reclaim anchored VWAP from off of the power earnings gap. Do have 10-20 cloud just above. Volume shelf and point of control is also above, and this descending trend line. So what we look for here is strength to break out. It needs to break above the descending trend line, above the volume shelf, and get back above cloud. So that's what we're looking for there. Continuation upside, and then we look for that run and breakout 55, the prior highs, and that's the level we'd be looking at above. I also have apps. APPS, let me zoom out a little bit on this one. What we have with apps is we have a descending trend line, and that trend line has been tagged 1, 2, 3, and today is the fourth time that it's been tested. You have a power earnings gap back here, big volume. That's where this anchored VWAP comes from. And then you have one anchored VWAP from off of the high. Closed right at the one from the power earnings gap. It was able to reclaim from anchored VWAP from the high. And then this year-to-date anchored VWAP is the red line. And then you have the descending trend line. So what we're looking for there is the breakout. If you remember OSUR that we discussed last week, had the big breakout on a very similar looking setup. That's what we're looking for here, continuation. You know, all these tests, it has yet to close above this line. So that's what we're looking for, is that close above. Very, very good volume. We love those big green volume bars on the way up, and that's what we have with apps. APPS, another one that's a monster as far as the fundamental growth side of the equation. I want to take a brief look at Snap just because we've talked about this one quite a few times, and what we talked about last night, we did get the continuation. So many times it happens. Power earnings gap high acts as resistance, and that's what you got here. So look for it to take that level out. Then we go after those highs, 80, 85, the all-time highs. I will point out good volume again today. In fact, pocket pivot volume This is considered a new base consolidation, and you had pocket pivot volume there. I'll also mention that again today, the November 80 calls very active, heavy call volume coming in, so big bets for continued upside for Snap. And one more we'll take a look at just quickly because I want you to get used to seeing how the pattern works. Love, this was the pinch. Once we came out of that pinch, nice move, good volume as it came out too. Took out that 70-44 pivot. So we tend to see resistance, 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 and then they break out. Oftentimes, we get very strong moves rather quickly. What usually happens next is we look for a little consolidation, maybe an inside day or a kind of a flag sets up on decreased volume, and that just allows the 1020 cloud to catch up to price. So wanted to share with you kind of how they appear on my scanner and how I come up with the ideas, then kind of what they look like as they play out, and then briefly touch on how I manage them and what we can look forward to over the next few sessions. Would like to see continued upside here, but usually as they start to get a little bit extended from that 1020 cloud, they go sideways and allow this to catch up. Hope that makes sense, and I hope it helps. Hope everyone had a happy Fed day and have a great trading day tomorrow. I'll see you again.